lost her spot now.
She lost her spot.
Now she's in the back and she's the short one.
Voted off the island.
No one's voting anybody off.
She thinks she's getting back in. Sorry.
Oh, wow. You are really strong.
Hello.
So
Can you get that on camera?
All right.
we're jockeying for space here. That's what's going on.
I think you're good.
Hi, everyone. We have like 19 cameras open.
If you guys could see the behind the scenes right now, if you guys are on, drop us a note, say
We
hi.
won't see it, but it'll be great.
We're
We can see everything.
we
now. We got it all
are
set up.
on Fleet Feet Facebook Live. We're on Fleet Feet Insta Live. We're on Feldman Insta, Facebook, and Yahoo.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yahoo. Drake. How old are you?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
great
Mary
start.
We got your card. So awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next year, if you could just get one without glitter.
I personally love the glitter.
That would be amazing.
We'll send you however much money it takes to double the glitter.
Yeah, more glitter.
So we did put it under the Christmas tree that we have.
It is.
Hi, Sharon.
It's here.
Thanks
Hey,
for
Sharon.
I love
joining.
that there's a loyal following. This is
I know. And Mary Beth mailed us a Christmas
I
card.
know. Do you guys see it? It's
Like
right
an
there.
actual, like,
It's
in
an
the
actual
mail.
Christmas card.
Oh,
Right
wow.
there. Yeah.
And it's addressed to us and
And it's-
everything.
Well, yes. I mean, who else would it be addressed to?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know either. It was really nice though.
Yep,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's
I'm
very
just
good.
kidding about the glitter.
Exactly.
Instagram Live, we see you. It's a little hard to see you. Oh, I see Michelle's on. You guys are a little farther away from us. If you could see how many cameras are pointing at us right now, I really do feel like this is a professional
So
production.
who
at the
has
moment.
good eyes to see
Oh, we
Instagram?
should
Because
move
I can't see Instagram at all.
Well, no one
Okay.
can.
Well, the ring light has made it very difficult.
I
to
think
see.
if I shut the register, maybe
That's the recent solar flare. That's what.
Yeah,
it
you're
feels
good.
the light
All right.
is so bright.
Ooh,
It's-
Justin's taking a picture. Who else
That's
do
John.
we have on?
That's John.
That's John.
Glitter is
So
back.
guys,
It's a great start.
To cut her off early.
You're
guys,
done.
If you're on, please say hello.
Oh, sorry.
Tell us that you're here.
Yeah.
Facebook. There's a bunch of you, but you're not talking.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
All right. Should
So
we get started?
let's get started.
Justin-
Alana, cruise
Just-
director, bring
yes.
us in here.
Julie.
'cause-
So first of all, I just want to cheers. This is our last Margarita Monday of 2023.
Oh,
so
man.
cheers.
Oh.
But the great news is we're coming back in 2024, guys.
And so here's the big news. We're looking for a straw sponsor.
Yeah. So
Because we got these new straws and
No bueno.
they're not working out well at
Margaritas
all.
are great, but the delivery
Yeah.
system is.
The margaritas are
Flawed.
amazing. But if anyone knows where we can get a decent straw, please comment or let us know or
Yeah.
drop off some straws for us.
I
We'd
would
really
like to say
appreciate
that
it.
you don't need the straw because you can just sip it out of the side of the cup and enjoy the
Yeah.
stuff.
can we you need to be in just a little bit more here for Insta. Yeah,
Yeah.
like look at Ed directing us.
He's directing me.
He's
Okay.
like, I can't see you. We have to be cozy like a family.
Sorry, Instagram.
all right.
All right. So, guys, what are we here to talk about tonight? Super shoes. Super shoes. It's like the hot topic
I'll take
right
the soup.
now. Good job.
We
Someone,
can only handle one Alana joke.
someone
okay?
try to take my job,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
One Alana
Um,
joke.
Are the
Wait.
jokes written down?
None of your business. So, anyway,
You think
um,
she does those off the top of her head?
I can't see it anyway.
right, like you can't see anything, so it doesn't matter.
Longest intro ever.
But
Yeah.
right, super shoes. So,
So if you're just tuning in, that's all we have for tonight.
Super
And
shoes.
this has been
And-
great.
it's great.
Oh,
Margarita.
hi, Aunt Gina. Thank you so much for joining. Aunt Gina's
Oh,
on.
wow, from Washington.
Yes.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
We're talking DC
Oh,
or
I got a
state?
drink.
All right.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
Okay,
All
so
right,
we're
really
talking,
bring it in here, Alana.
if you guys would let me, I would. I'm gonna land the plane. Okay, super shoes. We heard a lot of chatter about super shoes, especially around fall races, with the big Chicago, New York City, London, the big worlds happening. And there was just a lot of questions and debate around what are super shoes really good for, especially when we're talking about folks like us, like the average everyday person.
Right.
You know,
None of us are professionals
let's
here.
take the elites out of the conversation here.
Right.
Okay.
And they're also probably getting their shoes paid for. So we kind of wanted to bring it down to our communities level. You know, it's not necessarily clear cut about yay or nay. So let's talk about it. We wanted to have
We brought in
Justin and
experts.
John, because Kim and I are just like, what are we talking about?
I'm just here for the margaritas.
So First and foremost, let's just define what we mean by super shoes. I'm gonna hand that over to
Who
the
wants to
expert.
take that one?
All right. So when we look at the shoe, right, you've got the foam. Okay. And so super shoes are going to have very lightweight special foam. Okay. Which we're just going to affectionately call super foam, because essentially every shoe company is going to have their own proprietary blend of different things. The basic idea is this foam is trying to be as lightweight as possible, right? And it's also trying to act to dampen and absorb as much of the force as possible. And then it's also going to have some sort of a plate in here, all right? So you could have either a carbon plate. What is this? What shoe is this?
Well, no,
That's
that's
a
the
speed.
speed.
So that
Right.
is
So
a
this has a
nylon
nylon plate.
Mhm.
Or you can have a carbon plate, which is in the Pro, okay?
Oh, there's no bending that shoe,
And so you'll
guys.
see that one, right? Alana, she's been lifting. She still can't bend it, right? I can get this one to bend, okay? So this guy's got a nylon plate versus that having a carbon plate. And we'll get into the difference here. But basically, when we look at super shoes, you're looking at the special foam and you're looking at some sort of a plate in there.
And a lightweight, usually
Oh,
under 8
Yep,
ounces.
the jokes are on the other side. I see
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Wow, busted. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's kind of what we mean when we're talking about super shoes here. Guys, why couldn't the shoes go out and play?
Gee, I don't know.
I don't know, Alana. Why don't you tell us?
You're catching up instead of trying to get. They were all tied up.
Oh, God. Okay.
Cute.
Yeah.
If anybody, the next time we do this, if anybody wants to volunteer to do the like Fozzie Bear and throw
Yeah.
like, tomatoes
No,
at
like
her,
the hook or
In
whatever.
addition to the straw sponsor, we're looking for a joke sponsor.
We are
I'm
looking for a
just
joke
saying,
sponsor.
like wherever I go, and I'm practically famous now, people are like, "We love your jokes." Like that's like
they're not going to
so.
tell you they're bad to your face.
They should though. Like, do you see celebrities? Like they get so much crap talked about them to their face, and nobody says that to me. So anyway,
Okay, good.
All right. So
All right,
we've
so-
defined super shoes.
We know what they are.
Yes. Let's get into the pros and cons. Let's start with pros. What are pros of super shoes? Again, in the context of the average everyday runner out there who's doing lots of great local running and events.
Justin says you're doing great. So, okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who says what?
Who's Justin?
Don't worry about it, Kim.
I can't read.
I'm
any
Oh.
of them.
Thank you, Justin.
Where do you see comments over there?
Over here in the black box.
I'm gonna move this along. One of the good pros for the
Yeah,
for
let's
the-
go with the
for
pros.
the everyday average Joe and Jane is that the whole point of a super shoe is to basically absorb some of the stress from running for you, for your body. And so, safe to say that a lot of people that, are not the elites and getting paid to do this, they're trying to fit in running amongst like a bunch of other stresses throughout the week. And so, the fact that you can get a shoe that's going to, limit some of the stresses from the running, which is going to limit some of the breakdown on your body and the stress on your body. I think that's probably one of the biggest pros there is.
So that was a long answer. I was going to say they're lightweight.
They are lightweight,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
improves performance, right?
Right.
But-
Justin covered that though in the definition.
yes.
We're talking about the pros of the shoes. So that's a pro. Is
That
that
is a
they're
pro.
lightweight.
right.
I like a lightweight shoe myself.
So lightweight shoe will make you be able to run faster. It'll
Faster
improve your running
turnover.
economy,
Yep.
Yep.
right? But the biggest thing is that what you're trying to do, since running is so repetitive, is you're trying to decrease the repetitive nature of the force on you. And that's where they can come in and be helpful.
Awesome.
All
Okay.
right.
So that's some of the pros. What are some of the cons that people need to be thinking about when it comes to the super
Ooh.
shoes?
Well, Kim, open
Yeah.
and close the register again.
Yeah.
They're expensive. That's what I was going to say.
So
Exactly.
I'm here with the simple answer.
the other thing is, right, when you look at this foam, okay, it is so lightweight, all right, and in order to make it lightweight, it's less durable. And so you're looking at a shoe that is more expensive, less durable,
Mhm.
which means it's not
Meaning
going to
lasts
last you
as
for as
long.
long,
Yep.
right? And that's the trade-off with making the foam lighter, is that it can't last as long because it just doesn't have the durability inside of it.
Yep.
And so that's one of the big, the big things is that you're just not going to be able to have the shoes for as long. And if you try to get a lot of miles out of them, all of a sudden you're going to start to be putting more force
Right.
on your system versus less.
And in that same vein, you're not going to be able to train them as much because a lot of them now, especially the newer ones, are getting marketed as like a one race shoe, like the new Adidas one.
Yeah.
$500.
Yeah, and it said that it would last, in the description, it said that it would last one race plus acclimatization period, whatever that means. So
What does that mean? Put it in the refrigerator? I don't
even
know.
when the Nike like the
Like a
4%
5K warm up.
and the
Oh,
next
okay.
percents came out, like you could see after one race they were kind of
So I
trashed.
wore a 4% for the New York City Marathon, and they were destroyed at
Yeah.
the end of the race.
Yep.
Absolutely destroyed. Never wore them again.
But that's what they're designed to do.
Right. So this kind of gets into the debate between super shoes as daily trainers versus super shoes as racers. So what do you guys think about that? Where do you think the jury sits on that one?
Well, I think the jury sits depends on the limit on your credit card.
Right.
One part, but
the barrier
Also-
is just like
Yeah.
the cost.
no, but also, so the one thing with the super shoes is that they're going to change your gait a little bit. Okay. And so they are going to change how some of the force goes into your foot. And depending on your running style and how much you're running, then you can actually see an increase. And they're newer, their shoes are newer, so the data is not great, but there is an increase in bone stress injuries in people who train exclusively in super shoes. Because the stress on your foot goes up as the shoe is changing how that load is getting transferred up.
We have a question on Facebook, or just kind of a comment, but the idea out there is, are they enough support for longer distances? And so I'm guessing, knowing that it's coming from Jennifer, like ultra runners, are they wearing these kind of shoes, or are super shoes starting to infiltrate that? Is
Good
there like a
question.
mileage point where super shoes really stop being beneficial, period?
Well, so there's a couple things. There's a lot to unpack in that. So the one thing is, these things are meant to run it. If you are going to do any walking in your race, not meant.
Like, let's
Oh,
talk
also,
about,
not only
like,
that,
for
there's-
example, like a full Ironman, let's say, right?
Right.
We forward
Yeah,
them strictly
exactly.
because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you know you're going to be doing a lot of walking,
Like a run walk
Not
type
only
of
that,
approach.
a lot of them are built for running on the road. And if one of the big things, excuse me,
Oh,
if
sorry.
you look, one of the big things, like this has nothing on the bottom, whereas if you go to some of the others, the outsole has the extra rubber piping. That's basically to improve durability. But they'll shed this to actually cut down on the weight. So then you're going to something like this, that's just a pure foam, and that's going to break down a lot on trails. And the majority of ultra runs are on trails and off-road pavement. So the shoe is really not going to get the same life out of it, and you might actually compromise like traction, safety.
It's
stuff
also,
like
I mean, you're starting to see carbon plates put into trail shoes.
Mhm.
Yep.
The thing is that if you really look at what in the super shoe is doing the bulk of the work, it is not the plate, it is the foam.
Right.
And so they're putting the plates in the trail shoes. I don't know that you're getting the same return. I haven't tried them out a ton to really be able to talk about it, but I know that really when you look at the super shoes, it's the foam. And so what you want to make sure you're using them for what they're designed. And I think if you're looking to do something on a trail, there's just like a better place to go. I do think though, when it comes to the ultras, you're spending time walking and you're not running a
Right.
full, and so you have to look at how that load is going to transfer on you and whether or not that's like the best tool for the job. But also depending on the length of your race, you're going to switch your shoes.
Yep.
And so
Oh,
for
good point.
certain parts of the race, it might be the right tool. And for other parts of the race, it might not be the right tool. You got to plan that out ahead of time.
Yeah, really great question. Thank you for putting that
Yeah.
out there, Jennifer.
Also, while we're on that, the big thing about the super shoes is I know a lot of people used to think that it propels you forward, and some of the designs of the newer ones do, but the carbon plates aren't designed to propel you forward. It's just about absorbing the shock. So
And like
the foam,
return
like
of
Justin said,
energy.
the foam is the big thing. Like even the new Adidas ones that we just talked about, it doesn't have a carbon plate. It actually has carbon pipes that go down. There's like 3 or 4 different pipes in there. So it's not like a single unit plate.
Do they freeze in the winter and burst in your kitchen?
Maybe it might. If that's the case, get them away from me. I already dealt with that once this year.
Only one way to find out.
Right.
Okay, so really great conversation. I just wonder, do you guys know how shoes actually talk to each other?
didn't we do this one already?
No,
Oh, it's a new joke.
they're not all tied up.
Oh.
How do shoes talk to each other? They're tied up? That doesn't even make any sense, Kim. They
A lot of this doesn't
converse.
make any sense.
They converse.
They converse. Do you get it?
I got it.
Okay, she gets it.
I get it.
I actually like that one.
That is
I don't
actually
see why that's a problem.
Unapologetically, I like that
I don't
one a
see
lot.
why that's a problem. I think
Oh,
that's
man.
great. Cheers to you, my friend. I
You know,
appreciate
Anna.
it. Thank
Yes.
you.
All
You
right.
know, so you have to have your misses to get your hits.
All right.
Okay, so we've talked about
Michael
some of the
Jordan.
pros, some of the cons, but I'm going to drill this question. Like, I want an answer. Should I be using super shoes as daily trainers?
Do you plan on racing in them?
No.
well, then why did you? Yeah, of course.
Why would you ask that question? Why would you ask that question? Of
All right. Well,
course,
because here's the
yes.
thing. No, because
Okay.
if it's not something you plan on racing in, then the
Then you're-
answer is an easy no,
Okay.
Right.
right? Because
But
then
if
they're not
you
going to help.
do, what's the right way and the right level of training to do in them so that, to your point, you
I think they are great if you're going to race in them, right?
Mhm.
Then some version of that shoe is good for your long runs, right? And then maybe one other run during your week, depending on what you're doing, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
But your recovery run, and maybe if you're going to be doing like hill repeat, say, or a tempo run or something else, throw that into a zone 2 run, right? Do that in a regular shoe.
Okay.
And ideally, we talk a lot about the benefits of mixing up shoes. And so don't, if you're going to be racing in, let's say, the Endorphin Pro, and you might be doing some of your long runs in the Pro or the Speed, then get into a Hoka or Brooks or something else
Mhm.
for those other runs, right?
And also, don't burn your shoe out during training.
Right.
Like
Correct.
that's the other thing, that they're not as durable as we talked about. So if you're doing a lot of training miles in that shoe, and then by the time you get to race day, the shoe might be dead, which
Right.
isn't going to serve you at all.
No.
Mhm.
All right, John, what's your opinion? You have to say something different than what I said.
Well, my answer was going to be that we follow the same rules that we do if super shoes weren't in existence ever. Like, you don't want to run the same shoe over and over again anyway.
Mm,
Right.
So
Good point.
you should be throwing it in and
Mixing it up.
mixing it up. But then that begs the question, well, there are different companies with different super shoes. So what if I just do that? And while you can do that, I guess, like Justin said, if your wallet allows, if the barrier to entry is not too high, sure. I mean, as long as the shoe has got a different heel toe drop, a different, stack height, if it's different enough to kind of like alter the stress on your foot, as if we were talking about shoes that weren't super shoes.
Yep.
That would be my
You can
answer.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sean,
yeah.
definitely.
I'm going to the
So
eye doctor
So
tomorrow.
Sean's question, in case you're on Insta and you can't see it, so his question is directly to Justin and John. Have you guys seen any of your clients blame injury on super shoes?
That's a good question.
I've seen my clients blame injuries on
Right.
everything.
I was going to say, yeah.
So largely,
Margaritas
including
mostly is
their
what I
in-laws.
blame.
largely it's always the shoe's fault. I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we
Well,
see that all the time at the store.
yeah.
Like people
People
are like,
blame,
this
yeah.
is it's
People-
the shoe.
I've actually seen people who love their shoes so much that they refuse to believe that it could be the idea that
Yeah.
they're,
that's a
Right.
good
You know,
That
so they're like,
happens, yeah.
hey, I bought 14 pairs of these shoes and this is all I do everything in because they're amazing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why you have this going on.
Right.
And so we need to get you out of that exact same pair of shoes all the time.
Yeah.
And that is, something that we've definitely seen. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I will say yes, depending on it. And like, so this one, excuse me again, like the Kinvara Pro, this is really, this is outside the limits of what's actually legal, right? So because it's 42 mil stack height, it's not approved for any races that are internationally sanctioned. So something like this, I could see somebody actually getting knee pain from if they're used to coming from a shoe that's a much different stack height or much less heel toe drop, right? So like the Hoka Carbon X is a 5 mil heel toe drop and it's got a much smaller outsole. So I mean, I could see somebody, going to these big new super shoes as the stack heights start pushing the limits. I could see people coming in with knee injuries because of it, but it's not necessarily that it's the super shoe. It's the fact that it's a shoe that's got such a big outsole and especially going to a really soft shoe. So if somebody's used to going from a shoe that's like super firm with a lower drop, and all of a sudden they try a super shoe that's got a big outsole and it's super soft, that's a recipe for disaster for the knee.
Well, any big differences, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
big change,
Any big change, right?
is gonna
Whether
be
it's a
problem.
big change in
Yeah.
your mileage or a big change in the shoe. I don't know. Alana has a plan for where we're going to go, but this
Well,
does go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, this does lead nicely into the idea that they've started to design super shoes that are specifically for training.
Yes.
So, right. So like this shoe is not for racing,
Right.
right? Because it's
Not
illegal,
legal for racing.
right? And so if you're like any of us and expect to win, they would check your
Yes.
shoes and
Mhm.
they would measure it,
Like
and you
us.
get disqualified,
That was cute.
right?
Just a secret, guys. That is one of the most amazing shoes I've
Yeah,
ever put on my
I,
foot.
I love this shoe.
It is
This
an amazing
is
shoe.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
If you haven't tried one,
Convara Pros for the win.
ask Santa
Right.
or
So the big thing is
Krampus
though,
or whoever. it is.
right? So you've got the Kinevara Pro, right?
Mhm.
You've got the Saucony Endorphin
Speed.
Speed, right? And these are both designed for training, right? Brooks has, this is the Hyperion Max,
Another favorite.
right? But they have the regular Hyperion, right? That's the whole thing.
Hyperion, and then there's the Hyperion Elite.
Elite, which is the race shoe.
Yeah, is the
And
super
so
shoe.
the idea is that you can sort of have a shoe that is not your race shoe, but another one that is similar to it,
Right.
so that you can train maybe in your long runs and other runs in that shoe, and then you can go into your race shoe. I know that I'm an outlier at this, and I know Kim is too, but I like to race in brand new shoes right out of the box.
Always.
Yes.
No,
Always.
absolutely not.
Always.
Absolutely not.
All the time.
So we
So we have a
question.
question. Yeah.
What about extra pronation in these shoes? So if you're a pronator,
Mhm.
I want to ask if Justin means if
Okay.
you pronate extra, or if the shoe
Mm.
causes extra pronation. I think the biggest thing is you will get more of that as a result of the way the shoe is going to interact with the ground.
Mhm.
And so because of that recoil, you're going to get more of a force. And you might see, especially with the added stack height, right?
Mhm.
All of a sudden, now you're going to see people.
You might see
clarifying,
that.
do they
Do
cause,
they cause more pronation?
pronation?
So
The Nikes did.
Yeah.
That's one in all
Yeah.
the races I've done. The shoe that I see the most that has excessive pronation is the Nike 4% and X% or whatever they are.
Whatever it is.
I
Now it's an
personally, I
alpha.
couldn't kick those off my feet fast enough, but
Mm.
I do not experience any of that in this one
in the pro.
or the
Yeah.
or the Carbon X
Yeah.
because they're a firmer shoe. But I also gravitate towards a firmer shoe. So I think a softer shoe, if somebody has pronation tendencies to begin with, if it's a softer outsole, it's only going to accentuate that.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it's a firmer outsole, then probably not.
And I think that brings up a good point, right? The shoe is not going to cause one thing or another. It might accentuate or bring
Exactly.
about an issue that is already present in the person. And so it's sort of like anything else, right? As you magnify the stack height and you bring them further from the ground, if they have any inefficiency, it's going to be magnified.
Yeah.
But that can also be fixed by just strengthening the person.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so I feel like the conversation has been pretty focused and serious. So quick little break. What do you
Yeah,
call?
because we
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you?
We haven't had a joke in at least
What do
2
you
minutes.
call two banana peels?
What does this have to do
A
with
banana
shoes?
split.
A pair of slippers. Ah, giggles for the crowd. Giggles
We're definitely
for the
laughing.
excited about it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I feel like Jake is commenting a lot off of
Hi, Jake. We can't
our
see you.
Instagram. It's a little too far away, so it's a little hard for us to see. So
Back up.
I'm
sorry,
gonna get new glasses this week.
Brooks Designs
Yeah.
with a wider platform to
Yeah.
enhance support.
so
yeah.
the shoes are like inherently a little bit more stable, is what
Correct.
you're saying.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
the
So-
pronation thing is also
Yeah.
a topic for a different time where
Right.
Yeah.
But also,
absolutely.
like on that note, though, if you're somebody that runs in like a super stable, like posted shoe, like a New Balance 860 or I don't know, Saucony Guide, like this is probably not going to really be your jam necessarily.
Right.
You're probably not going to be comfortable in a shoe like this, regardless of what. sort of
Margaret
happens.
liked my last joke, just FYI. So here's one thing that I will say. So you've heard like John, Kim, and Justin all say like, "Oh my God, we love this."
I
shoe."
love that shoe.
Sorry, I just want
So yeah,
But
cut
my
it.
pair's purple.
But just so that like
yeah, mine are purple.
carbon shoes are not necessarily for everyone. So I don't know if it's just my feet are so special or what, but when I put on a carbon plated shoe, I can tell that if I want to get these type of shoes into rotation or ever race in them, I really need to spend some time building up to it. They feel so stiff for me personally and my feet.
Mhm.
So that's the other important thing is to be able to try these shoes on before you really invest in them so that you can get a sense because they do truly feel different on your feet. They can be amazing or they can feel a bit harsh. And if it's on the harsh side, the signal that it sends to me is, okay, maybe start with, I've got the Brooks Hyperion Max,
Right.
and this is a great step towards it. And eventually maybe I'll build up to a fully carbon plated shoe.
Right. And that's why everybody's
So-
different. Like carbon plated shoes feel great on my feet. I love them. I feel very at home in them. But yeah, like we're very different. So
Mhm.
It's gonna be more the shoe because again, the Nikes I cannot stand them, but
Mhm.
you know like I said, the Hoka, the Saucony, those are great. I did not like the Asics, but that was more of the upper and the heel cup on it just did not jive well with my foot. So that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Justin, before we kind of wrap up and see if there's any other questions, how do we tell, and John, which are best for us? Like, what are the things to be looking at, to be thinking about and considering when we're shopping around, or if we're just kind of wanting to try stuff on and see how it feels?
Well, the first thing would be, does the color match your outfit?
right.
Cheers to that.
Here.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Are they bright and obnoxious colors?
Mhm.
No. So they should be comfortable, right? You should put them on your feet and they should be comfortable.
Mhm.
And kind of like you were saying, it shouldn't feel like something you have to get used to.
Right.
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 I think
So
that's a really important point.
Yeah.
if you put them on and you're like, oh, I could probably figure out a way to think these might maybe one day feel good.
Yeah.
Not right.
No.
We went
Right.
through that with Pam with the New Balance Elites.
Yes,
Remember
exactly.
the super comp Elites? We had the beautiful purple ones and I had them and Pam wanted them. And she came in and she tried them on and she was like, well, I love them. It's just like this one thing is bothering me. And I was like, take them off. You're not getting them.
Yeah.
Not a good fit. And that's true for any shoe, not just
Yeah, that's just like
super
Yeah.
basic advice. If it doesn't feel good walking around, in
Right.
it, it's not
Yeah.
gonna feel great running.
It's not going
Right.
to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about running and like the increase in force on your body running versus walking. And so if you put them on walking and they're not comfortable, as things increase, they're not going to get more comfortable.
The shoe should feel great immediately.
Yeah. And you shouldn't feel like, oh, I have
Breaking
to
them
break them
in
in.
is not
Right.
a
Not a
thing.
thing.
Not a thing.
No.
We have Jake commenting some more. I don't know if you can see that, Justin, as we think about just some other
Kim, where's your phone?
considerations.
You have your cell phone?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Jake, text Kim what you're saying because Kim can't read from that far away.
I can't
And
see it.
she's placed the phone in such a position that I can't see it.
can I, if I go on
No, you're
live?
going to be live and we're going to get an echo.
No,
keep
because
your
I'm
mute
on
off.
my account.
Oh boy.
No, but you can't see the comments from other people. I don't.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
never mind.
All
Um,
right, never mind that.
We tried. Jake, if you're sending some questions, text us. We see you commenting. We definitely want to get you into the mix here.
Yeah.
The other
Pam
thing is-
loves her Convara Pros. she
Kambara
said.
Pros for the
Yes.
win.
Always.
Right.
The other thing is, again, just like getting a new pair of shoes, is the stack height something that you're kind of like in the ballpark of what your foot's been used to? Is that the weight? Is it going to be a significant weight difference?
Right.
Heel toe drop. That's really it.
Yep.
Those
Yeah,
are, yeah.
I think you're looking for the shoe to be comfortable and you should put it on and feel like, wow, this is going to make me, feel good and confident and better. And if you put it on and you're like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of these also tend to have like a little bit of a narrower toe box. And so
That's why I love them. That's
Yeah.
really the only reason
I was
love
going to say,
them.
and that makes me really like them. And I
Hi,
put them on it.
Kristen.
They sort of feel like a glove.
Mhm.
But if somebody doesn't have a foot that's shaped that way, they might not
If
feel.
you have a wider toe
Yeah.
box, a wider foot, they might feel uncomfortable on
Mhm.
you right
Yep.
out of the box. Okay.
All right,
Here
we
we
got
go.
Jake.
Oh,
Jake's
here we
question.
go.
All right.
So Brooks Pro athletes say they want it to feel like it's making you fast, but it should feel natural. They call it supernatural.
I like that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I would say that is exactly probably how I felt when I put on like the first pair of I don't remember the first super shoe that I tried, but even
The Endorphin
Pro,
Pro.
yeah.
during
Probably.
COVID.
Yeah,
Right,
I
during
really
COVID.
know.
And you just sort of felt like, oh, I couldn't possibly, like, this makes my gait feel natural. Like, I
Right.
don't think I could stop running. I just feel like I'm going to keep going. Like, and I think often when we talk to people about like running gait or something, I usually use the analogy of like, if you ever see a kid run down a hill, it just looks effortless and they're just sort of like going. And that's kind of how you want to feel. Like you're not working super hard to do the movement.
Mhm.
right. Natural.
So, if we were kind of to sum up the conversation and what we've been talking about, I'll take a stab, but definitely jump in, guys. But I think, the debate is still ongoing, right? There's still a lot of science and research being done on the effect of super shoes, especially as day-to-day, daily type of trainers. But
Mhm.
we've talked about kind of going, through a pair of shoes like this that is going to still give you that super, what did you call it? Cushion? Is that what you called it? Super foam.
Super
Mhm.
cold.
Boom.
And maybe not have as harsh of a plate or a carbon plate in there. And so these are going to be really great to have in your rotation while we're saving or thinking about shoes with carbon plates more for race day? And how do we make sure that we're getting some training in these, but not overdoing it so that we're not leading into injuries? And I think, there's still a lot for us to learn. This is I don't want to say it's a newer technology for running, but I think it's just becoming much more socialized. And so as we're seeing more and more people using these kind of shoes, we're going to see more research, more anecdotal information about, what works for different individuals. And then I think ultimately it always comes down to you and your feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is just like trying any other pair of shoes. What feels good immediately on your feet is what you should go with. What did I miss? Anything to add? Are there any other questions out there in
Not
the
a lot
online
of questions
world?
tonight.
I think so. I think the trend of lighter, right? So I think what you're going to start to
Yeah.
see is like, it's like anything else with technology, right? So even if you look at like the most high-end camera in the world, right? Eventually the technology in that camera filters its way down to a regular camera that an everyday person is going to want to buy.
Right.
And so when you look at the technology in the super high-end, like elite carbon plated shoes, you're just starting to see the technology from that foam and the different pieces filter its way down to the shoes that are available to the everyday people.
Yeah. And I was
We have
going
a
to
great
say for
question.
next year, like I just did all the shoe buying for next year, for next fall. And this
Because it's
is
Christmas, so we're worried about summer and retail.
Yes.
correct.
Yes. Okay.
And this is the
Jewish
trend
guy
right
gets
now. Like literally every single brand has a shoe, which is like a race shoe that you can train in every day. Like that's the thing for next year. Every brand is doing that. So that's kind of like where we're headed.
So we have a really great question from Beck. So would these type of shoes really be any performance boost for race day for someone who's like a 10 to 11 minute
Great
mile
question.
runner?
I think it's a great question.
That's a great
So-
question.
Because
Yeah.
that's like
This
kind
is-
of us, right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's us, right? Like
Right.
that's what we want to bring it down to this level.
Right. So
I feel lighter and faster in them.
yeah.
That's the group that's going to benefit the most.
I was gonna say, right. So if you think about it, right, if they're gonna improve your running economy,
Mhm.
right, and they're gonna whatever they claim 4%, 5%, right? So like 4% of 10 to 11 minutes is a bigger number than 4% of
Absolutely.
5 minutes. And
the
so
same
you're
thing
gonna
with-
see a bigger difference.
It's the same thing with aerodynamics and cycling. The aero benefits of equipment greatly benefits like the middle of the pack people more. So middle and back of the pack, that's where we live, baby.
Yeah. So you're gonna see it.
Not as long anymore.
Right. You're gonna see it because you're gonna see increase in absorption. So basically, right, if this carbon plate, right, absorbs force, that is force that your calves and your foot and your ankle, they don't have to absorb. And so that's just work you don't have to be doing. And you could then say, hey, I'm gonna take that energy and I'm gonna run faster, or you could say I'm gonna take that energy and I'm gonna run longer, or I'm going to take that energy and just
Go
enjoy
get
being
it.
less
Go get
fatigued
a
after the
donut.
race. Yeah,
Just go
exactly.
get it.
Have a
But you can do with
margarita.
what
you
Right.
want with that energy save.
Yeah, as long
I
as
think-
the shoe feels good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Right.
what it all boils down to at the end is we can tell you this shoe is going to make you feel lighter and faster, but if you don't feel that, then it's
Yeah.
probably not the right fit for you and you should just not wear them.
And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, these shoes are not a replacement for doing the work. Okay.
100%.
So like our message
Oh,
here
you
is
have to
not
train?
like,
Did you get another?
Okay.
one, Jake?
so
Jake
here's
is, I don't know.
so
I
here's
lost
the
track
thing
of
is
Jake.
like
Right there.
watch the Hartford,
Yes.
like what happened for Hartford half marathon. All right. Like Kim trained in
Well,
and
here we go
wore
again.
her New Balance super shoes.
Right.
Trained in, right? So
I didn't train in them.
exactly. She didn't train in them. So
I bought them out of the box and
Right.
then I wore them to the race.
Right.
That's what I did.
and on race day, she and I both ran together. One of us finished before the other. One of us was wearing super shoes. One was not.
Right.
So my point is not to
win.
shame Kim,
Right.
but to say these shoes are not a replacement for doing really solid training.
Definitely seems
And-
like you're trying to shake.
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, that's
You're
she-
digging, you're
Yeah.
twisting that a little bit more.
Totally ditched me for the training program. She's like, let's do
Alana,
this. And I was like,
Alana.
I'm in. And then she was like, peace out. And I was like, what just happened?
This was months ago.
Do we have to cut it off?
No, no.
I was busy.
And I wasn't.
Right. Oh, my
Okay.
goodness.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But the point being,
The
It
shoe-
doesn't.
The
It's
super
super
shoes
shoes are not
didn't-
just for the elites.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're
No,
not.
they're not for the
Yeah.
elites.
They're
not
for
the
everybody.
super fast.
Yeah.
And
So-
that's anybody can use them and benefit from it.
Any other final questions before we wrap up?
I'm not a fast runner. I noticed.
Yeah, we
Sure,
already
yeah.
let
Oh,
that.
okay.
go.
We already got through
We
that,
got
John.
that.
All right.
Welcome
Sorry.
to the
Okay.
I'm
Um,
outcasted to the back here.
So no, I mean we can change around, but
I can't be any further away because I can't
So-
see as it is.
right. Well,
So my spot is. I'm here.
Well, can I?
This
like,
is
that's
where
all
I
I got.
I'd like to
That's all I
pose a
got.
question. If
Okay.
you can't see as it is, what does it matter where you
I know.
stand?
Maybe
Yeah.
I should be back
It
there.
doesn't matter.
You're actually right.
Fair point.
Yeah,
fair
actually,
point. So guys, we just wanted to
Where
say
Tracy said me. Does that mean she has a question or?
Do you have a
no,
question?
I think she was commenting I think she was saying
Oh,
for Jen's last comment.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
So
We have
Um,
sushi to eat.
yeah. But really,
Oh.
what we want to say is thank you all for tuning into all of our Facebook Live throughout the year. We've had a lot of fun with these. We hope you have enjoyed them as well. Stay tuned. 2024, we're going to have a lot more. We're going to be coming back with these two fools.
Oh, we're
to,
inviting them
like-
back.
I think so. We'll
All right.
see.
We're
You
gonna
never
do
know.
it.
I think we bring a lot to the party.
So here's to 2024
Cheers.
and staying active and healthy and moving and
Getting new glasses.
yeah, obviously. We appreciate all the support and we'll see you guys again really, really soon.
Thank
oh wait,
you,
Tracy
everyone.
had a question. We'll ask on
Sunday.
Saturday.
Oh.
Great.
We'll see you
We'll see
Saturday.
you Saturday.
Adios.
Bye,
Enjoy, guys.
guys.
We don't know how to turn any of this off.
It's okay. It'll take a second.
Bye, guys.
We gotta stop that one.
We're still on here.